Hello and happy summer. Today I thought it might be fun to do something a little bit different. I've never done this before, but we're gonna go through a few of my kids' like all-time favorite lessons and activities that we did this year. Now, I couldn't do everything they liked this year, but I went through and I just kind of like tried to think through their favorite things that we did all year. And those are the things we're including. So things that they kept asking me about, things that they requested over and over, things they wanted to sing all the time. Those are the kind of things that are on this list. Again, not everything, but some of the things. But I thought this would be a fun way to just go through a couple maybe different ideas that you may or may not know about that will work for you hopefully for next year, or if you're still in school that you can use them this year. I'll also be making a video where I go through and kind of like reflect on this year of teaching. This year was my number 8 and it was very different. So I am looking forward to talking about it. However, I didn't quite feel emotionally ready yet because I find if I give it like a little bit of separation between the end of the school year before we talk about it, I just like am able to reflect a little bit better. Like right now it just feels rushed. So we're gonna do this instead and then we'll talk about that later. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you get notified when that one comes out, especially if you're an elementary music teacher, especially because next year you're gonna need some ideas, right? And I have a lot of videos, so I've got you covered. All right, let me go grab my notes and let's get started. There's like one certain specific way I like my camera when I sit over here and I can never remember what it is, but it's not this. So I just finished up my 8th year of teaching, and in this year it was really interesting. I taught at the same school for 6 years. During that time we had all the crazy COVID craziness where we were shut down and we were hybrid and we were distance learning and we were doing all that kind of stuff. So this year, last year I was like new to my school, so everything was new to all the kids. And then this year was my first year with them that I really like had a little bit of, we had made progress together, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so this year was really interesting. And yeah, so I just went through and kind of thought through like the things that they requested the most, the things that they asked for the most, the things that they were constantly like wanting to do. It's not everything, like I said, but it is a couple of things that we really enjoyed, some that are new, some that are old, and it was just a good time. So let's go through. These are not in any order at all, but here we are. Number 1 is the song Little Green Frog. I found this one, I think last year is the first year that I had ever heard it before, and they ate it up. I taught it to 1st grade last year, and then this year I taught it to my 1st graders again. They sang it in concert, and my 2nd graders actually were still obsessed with it from last year. So this one is really cute. It goes, ah, went the little green frog one day. Ah, went the little green frog. Ah, went the little green frog one day, and they all went, ah. But we know frogs go, la-dee-la-dee-da, la-dee-la-dee-da, la-dee-la-dee-da. We know frogs go, la-dee-la-dee-da, they don't go, ah. And so this is just a really cute little song, and it's a really fun time because it's hilarious. I usually play it on piano and the kids sing along. They clap on that second part. Typically on the first part, we make a frog with our hand and keep the beat with that. And then on the second part, we have the clapping. And then we'll add different instruments in and different things like that. We sang it in concert. The parents loved it and it was a really good time. And it's just one of those songs they just really love. And then one thing that I like to do with this one is I'll ask them like, do frogs really say la-di-la-di-da? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, do frogs really say ah? And they're like, no. And so then we try to think like, okay, well, what do frogs say? And someone will be like, oh, ribbit. I'm like, okay. And so we'll do it like, ribbit, ribbit, went the little green frog one day. And we'll change the lyrics, and that's really fun. And then last year, I didn't do this year, but last year I like looked up different frog noises. And so we would listen to a frog noise. We would try to like recreate it with our mouths and add it to the song, and it was just a really good time. The kids really like it. It's a fun one and it's easy, and I think I have it included in my free frog songs. I have like a Google slide that goes through 4 different songs about frogs that just all are hits with my kids, and so you can check them out. I'll link it down below, and I think there's also a recording of me playing and singing on there as well. Number 2 was a new to me one this year, and that is Chimpoy Chapoy. This one I learned it must have been in like March or April. I think it was April. I think it was like the day after we got back from spring break. We had a district training event and my district leader taught us this little chant and I was like, great, now I have something to do tomorrow because I had not made my lesson plans. And so I did this one with 4th and 5th grade, and it's a Filipino chant and it's a good time. It goes, Chimpoy Chapoy, doce nada que, doce nada bye bye, doce nada que, doce nada pat, doce nada que, Chimpoy Chapoy, doce nada que. Now, I taught them this one the way that she taught us to do it. And so I put it up on the board and I had them just like notice things. And I'll have the slide here also, but I put the different lyrics in different colors. And any of the lyrics that are the same go in the same color. So doce nada que happens a lot. And so those are all the same colors. So at first we just go straight through it. I tell them to read it and then we add the actions in and we do it one at a time. So I'll be like, okay, when we have doce nada que, we're going to go down, down, up. Can you try that? Doce nada que. So then we'll go through everything and they just do that action. I'm like, okay, this time we'll do the action, we'll do that, and we'll add in, this for Chimpoy Chapoy. And so that way they were able to learn all of them, and I'll ask them a lot of questions like, okay, which one do you want to learn next? Which one do you want to learn next? Then once we have the whole thing, then we start audiating different parts of it. So we'll do the whole thing, and then we'll be like, okay, when you get to the purple part, think it in your head, don't say it out loud. And I did actually teach them the word audiate. This is the first year I've ever done that. Usually I just say think it. But this year I was like, you know what, we're gonna learn the fancy word. I don't know that it makes any difference, but here we are. And so we would get to that purple part and they, didn't say it and they say all the rest of it. And then I'd ask them like, what color do you want to leave out next? What color do you want to leave out next? And so that's a really fun way. They get a lot of input, but they also get to go through the song a lot of different times and they have to really think about it. So it's engaging their body with the body progression. It's engaging their minds as well. And then we also did it like on another day. I would not suggest doing it on the same day, but on another day we did it as a round and you can get a few, like 2 or 3 groups going with the round. And then I wanted to add instruments, but we ended up running out of time because this was like right at the end of the year. So I was thinking we could add, like 1 instrument for each line or something along those lines. So maybe next year we'll try it out, but I highly recommend you use this chant if you have never used it because it was a really good time. Number 3 is a song that is always a hit, and that is Pass the Pumpkin. This one I usually do around October, and it is just, it's always a hit. Let's sing Pass the Pumpkin. Pass the pumpkin all around, listen to the spooky sound. Ooh, ooh, will it stop on you? Okay, so Pass the Pumpkin is great. I use this one during spooky season with all my kiddos. I usually don't say we're celebrating Halloween, but I'll pull like this or maybe like 5 little pumpkins or like 1 or 2 of those little like spookier things. And we don't call it Halloween. We don't say it's Halloween. We're just doing a couple things in minor. And I know some people who have had problems with like, you do not do Halloween. They use listen to the minor sound instead of listen to the spooky sound. I haven't had any problems, so I don't worry about it. But with this one, I use it with a variety of grade levels. With the little kids, we'll use it to practice the beat. We'll talk about the beat versus the rhythm. With the older kids, I have used it with chords because there's not a lot of chords in it. I've used it to do instruments where, this is actually one of my favorite things to do, is I'll have the xylophones play the Pass the Pumpkin all around, and we do it in D minor, so it's just D, F, D, F, D, F, A. And so they do that part, and then I'll usually ask the class what they want, like, okay, what do we want to add on the second one? What do we want to add on the third one? And let them kind of pick their own instruments to add to the song, which is really fun. And then there's a passing game, of course. It's like hot potato where you pass the pumpkin all around while you sing, and at the end you freeze and whoever has it at the end is out. This is one legitimately, so we were at the end of the year and it was like my last day with my 4th graders, and I was like, okay, since it's your last day, like, we will play whatever you want to play. Just name a game we have played this year and we will play it. And they all were like, Pass the Pumpkin. And I was like, okay. And we like went through it like twice. And then I was like, you want to play a different game? And they were like, no, we just want to pass the pumpkin. I was like, okay, whatever. And it was really, really cute. So highly recommend Pass the Pumpkin. I typically use this with all the grade levels, whoever it works out with this year. I think it was just 4th grade that ended up doing it. But everybody loves it. If nothing else, just play the game and, you know, don't use it for academic purposes, whatever. Number 4 is one that was also a highly requested activity from my 5th graders, and that is the parachute. The funny thing about this is we actually didn't use it this year. I intended to, but we had a loss in the family and I missed like the entire week before winter break. So we did not use the parachute, but last year we used the parachute with March from the Nutcracker, and my 5th graders loved it so much that this year when we got to the end of the year and I said, what do y'all want to play? That's the thing they requested. They were like, can we use the parachute? And I was like, sure. So we're over here listening to March from the Nutcracker in May. I have a routine for some of the songs for Star Wars as well, but I couldn't think of it off the top of my head because it was, you know, when they're like, I want to do this, it's like something I haven't prepared for. So we just, you know, we were nutcracking it up. It was fine. For this one, I typically do on the A section, we walk in a circle. And then on that last beat, the bum, 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 bum. Usually they'll do like a little, I don't know, they'll make a noise with the parachute. On the B section, you go up for 4 and down for 4. On the C section, you do little teeny tiny shakes. Oh, A section is walk around, and then on the second part, the ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-bum, ba-bum, they do like, it's called the washing machine, where you go back and forth. So that's a really easy one, and it's really fun, and apparently you can use it any time of the year. So there you go. Parachute activities. All right, we had Little Green Frog, Chimpoy Chapoy, Pass the Pumpkin, Parachute, and the next one is a game that I found on YouTube, actually, and it's called Pass the Beat Around the Room. For this one, I've played it a few times, but this year it like really hit home for my kids for whatever reason, and I played it with 4th and 5th grade. They loved it, and for this one, you literally pass the beat around the room. So you have a rhythm or a saying or whatever. We usually start with pass the beat around the room, pass the beat around the room, and the shoulders is a rest to make it 8 beats. So everybody gets 1 beat of the song. So it's like pass the beat around the room, and then you restart. If you say the wrong thing or if you hesitate, then you are out. Now, one thing I added in this year that I've never done before is I added in a metronome to help keep us on beat, because they'll start getting faster and faster and faster, which doesn't end well. And so I started adding a metronome. They have to keep with the metronome in order to play, or they're out. If they hesitate, they're out. If they say the wrong thing, they're out. We typically start with that. Then we'll change it to different phrases. I like to use food because it just makes life easy. So we'll do like, actually, we did pizza, cheese, pepperoni, cheese. And so all the kids kept saying it was the pepperoni cheese game. But we did that one. We did like strawberry, chocolate, ice cream, or different things like that. But I think the words are easier than like ta, ticka, ticka, ta, tt, or anything like that. So just changing it up every couple of rounds, and it is a really good time. It gets very intense. It's really intense, especially when you get to 2 kids left, and it's like a tense match. Everyone's like back and forth. It's hilarious. Highly recommend with those older kids. It's a really good, actually, I think I used it on the first week of school because it's a really good like first week. We don't know each other very well. Breaking the ice. You don't need to know a lot of stuff to play it. And then I think I brought it back the first week of January because same thing. It's just a good like easing back into things kind of game. Next up is a music game that I made at the end of last year, but my kids really liked this year, and that is Music War. So if you've never played War before, it's a card game, and it's a real card game. Actually, a lot of my kids had already played it before, which helped a lot. And so what you do is you take this deck of cards, you split it in half, and you flip over the cards. Whoever has the higher card takes all the cards in the middle to add to their stack. Eventually what happens is one person ends up with all the cards, and that's the winner. So Music War is the same thing. I have a couple different ones in my TPT shop. I do it for dynamics. I have treble clef and bass clef, and then I have rhythm, which is the one that we've used, because y'all, when I tell you, we have spent so much time trying to figure out beats, number of beats, beats per measure, measures, time signatures with my upper grade. Like, we have spent so much time trying to really figure that stuff out. And because of that, I found this game to be really, really helpful. So I use the level 2 rhythms, and this one it's like multiple rhythms together. So your card might just have a quarter note, it might have 2 quarter notes, it might have a half note and 8th notes, different things like that. But you have to add together the rhythms that are on your card, and whoever has the most rhythms out of the circle gets all of the cards in the middle. Side note, if they tie, the people who tie flip over again, and whoever wins that gets everything in the middle. This game has been a huge hit with my kids, especially 4th and 5th grade. And I tried to be really strategic this year with teaching measures and beats and all of that kind of stuff. And so I taught it to them. We talked about the rhythms getting different number of beats. Then we played this game to really get like, okay, half note is 2 beats, quarter note is 1 beat, like understand that. And then we went into measures and time signatures, and that helped a lot. And the kids just really loved this game. There were some times I like split kids with a band teacher, so I don't teach all of them. And I had like all of them one day, and we were playing games, and they were like, can we play war? And I was like, yes. So we like taught it to the band kids, and it was a good time. So highly recommend that one. If you have not tried it, I will link it down below, and it is a great time. All right, my last one for today, definitely not the last thing that the kids have liked, but the last one we're gonna do today is, I'm calling it Mardi Gras music. My little kids do this program where they learn about 3 different styles of music, and then they go to a concert. We do it in the fall, we do it again in the spring. And so this year, one of ours was New Orleans second line, and we did it right around Mardi Gras time. And so we learned a song called Toto de Mardi Gras, and we learned When the Saints Go Marching In, and we learned about the instruments, and we had parades around the room. And so we would learn about the instruments, and then we would parade around, and you had to pretend to play the different instruments. So I'd call it like trumpet, and they, and then trombone, and they to do this. And then on another day, we pulled the songs back out, and we played like maracas and drums all around the room. And then on Mardi Gras, my principal let me have a parade around the school with all of the kindergarten, 1st and 2nd graders. It was wild. All the older kids came and sat in the hallways and watched, and a bunch of the kids had made like masks in their classroom, and so they were like carrying their masks around, and we like went all the way through the school, and they played the music we'd been learning on the speakers. It was an amazing time. Highly recommend. So that was one of like the core memory kind of things that my kiddos have remembered from this year with kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. So that is 7 things that my kids absolutely loved this year. Hopefully some of them will work out for you next year. I'll link some stuff down below, that whatever I can link to give you more information. Some of them I don't have any resources because it's like something new from this year or different things like that. But yeah, great time. So highly recommend any of those. And I would love to hear what your kids' favorite things were. So let me know those down below in the comments, and maybe we can make this a yearly thing. Maybe. No promises. We'll see. Okay, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that when back to school season comes, you'll get all of the content ready to go, and you'll have all the ideas ready to go. And in the meantime, I will see you next time. Bye. Aha!